Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deepbluerenegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deepbluerenegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 75. Today is February 1st, 2015, and I'm glad you could join me. So, it is the evening edition tonight, so it is like way too late for coffee, so. But it seems like I'm going to be able to make do. I am recording in a different location than usual. Hopefully, I think the lighting's not too bad. Maybe it's a bit washed out, but it's not the end of the world. The light in the yarn room is not currently working. We have like special dimming switches, and for some reason some part of it is on the fritz, so it's working intermittently. Otherwise I probably would be recording there. But for the switches that actually switch on and off and not all the shades of gray in between, we're doing okay. So, and this area actually gets a lot of natural daylight, but it's not private either, so. I've managed to get a lot knit this week, I think because my spinning bender is finally about done. What was it? I nearly spun 2 pounds in January, so that was like way above average for me. So it's sort of nice to be back on a knitting jag. So I guess I'll show you the moonstone shawl first today. Just, I don't know. It's not like I finished anything. It's just I've gotten more knitting done than usual. I don't know, I'm close to finishing. It's really close. So I have 17.8.9 grams left of this guy. And what this means is that I have half a repeat, or even now less than half a repeat to go before I'm done with this guy. So I created a little Excel chart and I put down all of my little, my grams left per repeat, and I'm not going to make it to 6 on this guy. And honestly, the pattern calls for 5, so everything after that is extra. But look at how big it is! And it's going to be so big when it's done, too. So, like, sheet of knitting. So, so what was it? It was the case where I finally finished the, the 5th repeat of the shawl. I weighed it, I put all the numbers into the spreadsheet, and then it was clear that I could get away with 5.5 repeats and not 6. I think it was some, like, for whatever reason, I'm not sure why exactly, but, or what was it? The slope of the curve was 26.5. So, I'm not quite sure. It shouldn't have been linear, though. It shouldn't have been linear, so I'm not entirely sure the why of the situation, but whatever. It is clear that I will be done after I finish the half of the chart, and that should be pretty much the same point because the chart is actually sort of double. So that means 14 rows. I've probably done 2, it looks like, since then, so I have 12 more rows to go on this guy, and then I'm done. So it's so close, I can taste it. Victory will soon be mine, and I can start something new, and wouldn't that be super duper exciting? So this is the Moonstone Shawl by Renee Levington. I am knitting it out of Bijou Basin Shangri-La in some numbered colorway, which is a gorgeous blue. And it is coming along nicely. Oh, I also had to buy more beads. I ran out of beads. So I feel a little bit silly for buying more beads when I really just need a little bit more, but they're very versatile beads, so I could see myself using them in other projects, because they are Toho round transparent rainbow crystal, so they are about as generic as you can get when it comes to beads. So such is life. Now I've also reached a milestone with the Viajante shawl as well. I decided to start the lace mesh, and I also decided to bead the lace mesh as well. It turned out there was a really gorgeous project out there, and they had actually been beading for pretty much the entire shawl, so they put lots of beads down the center spine here, but I did no such thing. And honestly, it would have been incredibly hard to implement based on the way I did, what is it, my increases, since they're knit front and back, which isn't really what the pattern called for, but looks nice. So, what is it? So I have 89.4 grams left to go on this, and look at how big it is. So long. And I guess the most telling thing would be, if you look at my little markers, this is one of them over here, all the way down to this guy right here, is that I did a lot more this week than I have previous weeks in this month. So if January was a bad month for knitting, I think I'm a little bit closer to normal now. So I will move my marker to the next spot down the line. So this is Viajante. The pattern is by Martina Ben. I am knitting it out of wool mice lace in the Blautint colorway, and it's no longer as mindless a project anymore, so it'll be hard to knit it in the dark while watching movies, which is unfortunate, but and it's now much more interesting to knit because I have to figure out where to put the little beads and then knit two togethers, and it's sort of hard to even really give the beads justice. I decided to go with a very contrasty bead, and so pretty soon I'll be adding the next row of beads. I had a little snafu where it turns out that my understanding of the knit two together yarn over mesh and the slip slip knit yarn over mesh is a little bit broken. So I realized after 2 rows of mesh that my slip slip knit side was a little bit off, whereas my knit two together was just fine. But I think I've come to a resolution with it, or it's not too bad. There is a little bit of a curve to it, but it's pretty subtle, and I think the strong line of the mesh is going to be the dominant thing there. So it's coming along. Obviously, it's probably pretty scrunched up now on my fixed, or I guess these are my interchangeable circulars, but this is the biggest cord I have, so I could gang together a couple more cords and make it bigger, but that tends to make it a bit more unwieldy to carry around, so I choose not to. Okay, I haven't started anything new. I will be very excited to start something new, though. I'm so close. I don't know if I will start the Fragile Heart Shawl for the Something Special cow, or if I will finally start the gray cardigan. I realized when I was talking about cardigans and patterns like that, I bought the Mouse Young Woolmeise to make this one cardigan out of the book, which is Mother Daughter Knits, which is by Sally Melville and her daughter Caddy. And so I saw this sweater in Sally's class because I took her class at Woven Knitting Live in October 2012, and it is perfection in sweater form, but what you need is a very neutral yarn to knit it out of. So that's why I bought that gray yarn. What was it, last March? So it's been marinating for a while. But I think its time has finally come. And if it turns out I have leftovers, then I can throw that to whatever I'm going to do with my over-dyed Woolmeise that I have. Because that also deserves to be a sweater too. So we shall see which way I go, because there have been a lot of shawl knitting, and I may as well take advantage of the cold weather to start a sweater. We shall see. It's not like I'm wearing a sweater right now. Alright, so I did start my something special project, and it was a little bit funny. I was hoping to be able to, I sampled. We'll just leave it at that. I sampled. And I sampled because I wasn't sure, and I really wanted to do this fiber right. So I sampled on the wheel, I got things going, I put on the lace flyer, and I could not make good yarn with it. Maybe part of it was that I wasn't sure how to draft the camel silk, but it was far more challenging than I was expecting, so I couldn't really make I'm just sort of glomping this together to sort of highlight the fact I couldn't make a consistent signal with it. So it was just, oh, that's like fleshy colored. Let's see if I can show you against that. Oh yeah, so you can sort of see how crazy pants the yarn was turning out. So I have an Instagram picture which I think also shows the thing. So it was a little bit challenging to draft, so it would either be going too thin or it was just not working for me. So it's something I'm going to have to practice on, but I didn't want to practice on camel silk. So this is what I am spinning on my Turkish spindle, because I switched to the spindle and suddenly everything made sense and it was working out alright. So let us grab the dark purple backdrop and then maybe you guys can see. So I'm spinning way more consistently and way more thinly by using the drop spindle, or my Turkish spindle. So I'm going to continue working away on that. So it turns out to be a rather soft and lovely lace weight single, so I think that is what I really intended to have all along. And for now I'm just spinning it in the natural color. It's very different to spin than anything I've ever spun before. This is the braid. It is for the most part still in braid form. Like it is, can you just tell how freaking shiny this is? It is incredibly soft as well, and I just want to do right by it. So it's a little bit funny to draft. It can draft way too easily or way too hard, and it seems to be a little bit of a crapshoot which way it's going to go. But it's been the case where I tear off a chunk and then I sit down and I just spin for a while, and that seems to be working out fairly well. But it's been somewhat on hold because I need to finish the other project, which is actually sitting over here. I'm not halfway yet on two-plying my singles for the chocolate Shetland fleece, but it's really handy to have the bag to contain the ball while I'm plying, so I can't use the bag on the camel silk until I finish using the bag with this project. And really, I only have one set of hands, so it's not like it's a big deal that I just have one spinning bag. It'd be like, nope, spinning bag. So I should actually shove this guy back in here, but there are the singles. It's brown. It's Shetland. It came from fleece that I washed and carded myself. Washed, picked, and carded. Don't want to belittle the picking. And at this point, I am now spinning it, and it is coming along nicely. So just need to find something to watch. This would probably be a good mindless movie sort of project at this point. And that has been what I've been working on. So because I've just started a spinning project, I'm not really thinking about other spinning projects. If I threw something on the wheel, I would ignore everything. So I'm just going to hold off for a little while. And that is perfectly fine. So I can focus on those things, and then hopefully I'll be able to get those things going. So I'd like to encourage you guys to join in the Something Special Knit Along. I didn't start till the last week of January, so it is not too late to start. All you have to do is have a project that started after the first of the year and finish before the 31st of March. So there's plenty of time. It is to get through winter. Since it is now the most selfish knitting time of the year. So I encourage you to join in and chat it up, and it'll be fun. So I should be able to record next week. I don't think I have anything that's on the books for next week, so that should be February the 8th. I'm trying to think of what else, because in the show notes, last week, I showed my new yarn organization system, so I'm excited about that. I still haven't dealt with the pile of other random things, and I'll probably end up moving my podcasting spot to be closer to the stash. It's just a question of lighting. As if my light isn't working, then it's a little bit more challenging. Trying to think of other things. Oh, I was really excited to find out that my combination spin that I showed last week of the nest fiber got random numbers selected for winning a prize, so yeah! So Jen of Nest Fiber is going to send me something in the mail, so I'm really excited about that. It's always nice to participate in the challenge and to get a cute little reward for going ahead and doing it. I'm really excited. Let's see. Both of the projects I'm working on count towards my Spin the Bin, which is another challenge that I'm working on right now, which is part of Completely Twisted Arbitrary. And if you guys are interested in joining in, it is not too late. The premise is whatever that you have at least 2-ounce lots of fiber, or 12 2-ounce lots of fiber, or something like that, and they can be bigger or smaller. It's not a big deal. I think one of my lots of fiber was 16 and one of them was 8, and I've already spun them this month, so take that as you will. So some people are more ambitious than others, but you can make it as laid back as you like. You just have to, whatever, follow the rules. But it's a really good and motivating challenge. So my camel silk is a part of my bin. I have some PFL silk that is in my bin as well. And then the rest of the chocolate Shetland fleece. The spinning project that never ends. That'll be a sweater too, eventually, but it moves along slowly. What else? So we'll see whether or not I finish a project next week. I feel much closer that there is hope at the end of the tunnel for me finally being able to finish, so we shall see. Be it a spinning project or a knitting project. I suppose I'm not too bad about finishing spinning projects lately, but such is life. And I think that's everything, so I am really glad that you guys joined me in the late night edition, and I look forward to speaking next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.